This is higher homework. It's the Unit 2 extension work that we've been doing, and it's question 11 part D. So this will be the last question that we're doing in this homework. Right, what we're doing is we're trying to solve this equation here. So it's 6 cosine 2x minus 5 cosine x plus 4 equals 0. The range that we're using is between 0 and 360 degrees. That's included, and we'll be using a calculator. A calculator's okay to use for this one here. Right, so just as in the previous ones, what I'll do is I'll show you what this graph would look like, a y is equal to graph for that. So, and what we're interested in is finding out where y is equal to 0 on this graph. So what we can see is that for it, it's quite a weird kind of shaped graph. We've got a solution here, here, here and here. So we're looking for 4 solutions to this equation that's here. Normally we wouldn't bother about the graph, but I thought I'd show you how that looks graphically and what we're going to be trying to solve. Right then, let's go ahead and try and solve this one. And what we'll do is we'll use the formula list here. It's cosine 2x, and what I can see is I've got a cosine x here. So that's the clue to the equation or the formula that I'm going to actually use. So there's 3 options. Generally wouldn't use this one here, the one that combines cosine and sine together. Not for this type of work here, because that would just confuse matters maybe a bit more. What I could use is this one here, or this one here. And the one that I'm going to use is the one that's going to leave me with cosines, and it's going to be the cosine squared, and that will allow me to form possibly a trinomial or a common factor that should be coming out of that equation. So let's go ahead and replace this part here with 2 cosine squared a, or it'll be x in this term, and it'll be minus 1. So let's go for it. So I've got a 6 sitting outside, and we're going for 2 cosine squared x, and it's minus 1. So all I've done is replaced the cosine 2x with 2 cosine squared x minus 1. Okay, so that's the formula sheet being used. Always worth checking on that and making sure that you get the right equation for that. Okay, and there's the rest of the equation just written in there. What I'll do next is I'll multiply that out. So what I'll get is I'll get 12 cosine squared x minus 6. So always remember to multiply the 2 parts within the bracket out. That's a common mistake that I've seen before. And let's just write down the rest of it here. That's 4 equals 0. Right, so what we'll then do is we'll try and gather the numbers together, and we'll go ahead and factorise this. That's minus 5 cosine x there, and I've got minus 6, and plus 4, that'll give me a minus 2 that'll be sitting at the end. What I'll do there is I'll try and put this into 2 brackets. Right, so I've got quite a lot of options I can use for 12, the 12 cosine squared x. So what I may have to do is to spend a bit of time to work out what the factors of this would be, or I could use the quadratic formula. That would give me a good help to try and work this out as well. But after looking at it a bit, what I would be doing is I would be using these ones here. So 4 cosine x in there. I've got 3 cosine x here. They'll multiply together to give me the 12 cosine squared x. I've got 2 and 1, so I just need to think about which order I put them down in. So I'll go for a 2 there, a 1 there. This one here will be a minus, because that's bigger, and that's going to be a plus. So that one there gives me minus 8, that gives me plus 3, and they give me a value of minus 5 cosine x when I multiply the middle terms out and gather them up. Okay, so as I've said, I've done that pretty quickly, but you should be spending some time to work that out, maybe just using the refactorisation tables that you can work that out, or whichever way you've been taught. Right, let's go and solve it. So I've got two parts here to solve. So I've got 4 cosine x plus 1 equals 0, or I've got 3 cosine x minus 2 equals 0. So let's just get this into cosine on its own. So I've got cosine here, cosine x is equal to, I'm going to take the 1 over to the other side, to become a minus 1, divided by the 4, so that's minus a quarter appearing there. On this side here, I'm going to have cosine x on its own. I'm going to take the 2 over that side, gives me a positive 2, divided by the 3, gives me 2 over 3. Okay, so that's me got it into that form there, where I can start solving these equations here. Right, so what I'll do is I'll use a cast table for this here. So here's my cast table, all sine, tan, cos. I know that cosine of the angle is going to be negative, so cosine's positive here and here, first quadrant, fourth, so I'm going to be looking for a second and a third quadrant answer for that one there. So that's where my solutions are going to lie for the left hand side. Looking at the right hand side now, I'll just do the same again. I'll just get a cast diagram, sine, tan and cos. I know that cosine is positive, and because it's positive I'll be looking at solutions where cosine is positive. So that'd be in the first quadrant, because all angles are positive there. And what I've got there is I've got the fourth quadrant. So there's where my solutions are going to lie. Right, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to work out the acute angle on this side. And that's just going to be the inverse cosine of a quarter. So that should give me an answer of, let's just look it up in the calculator. So inverse cosine of a quarter, that will give me 75.5 degrees. Okay, so that's 75.5 degrees. And what we'll do is we'll work out our solutions now. That's not a solution. The solutions I'm going to get are going to be in quadrant 2 and quadrant 3. So let's go for the quadrant 2 solution. Quadrant 2 is going to be 180. My x value is going to be 180 minus 75.5. And that should be equal to 104.5 degrees. And my quadrant 3 solution will be 180 plus the 75.5. Just get that right there, and what that's going to be is 255.5 degrees. So there's my solutions coming out of the left hand side. The right hand side, I've got cosine x is equal to 2 over 3, so just the same way I'll go for the acute angle. So x is equal to the inverse cosine of 2 over 3. Right then, so shift cosine and 2 divided by 3, that should give me an answer of 48.2. 48.2, and that'll just be to one decimal place. So that's 48.2 degrees we'll go for that one there. Right, my solutions here are lying in the first quadrant, so that's going to be a solution, and my other solution will be a quadrant 4 solution. And for quadrant 4, it's going to be 360 minus that acute angle that I worked out. And that's going to give me an answer of, when I work that through, 311.8 degrees. And that's the work complete for this question. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to clarify what my solutions are, because I've got a lot of working up above. So just write down my solutions. And we're going to just put them in order. So the smallest one would be the 48.2 degrees. I've got, let's see, that's not one of my solutions, so I'll go for 104.5 degrees. I've then got 255.5 degrees, and the final one, 311.8 degrees. And that should be the 4 solutions for that question. So let's just take another check on the graph that we've got there. So the kind of graph that we had, what we're looking at is 48.2, so that would be this one here. We're looking at 104.5, about there. We're looking at 255.5, and the final one there, 311.8. So, yep, that looks like the solutions that I've got there. That looks as though they're okay. Right, so let's look at the marking for this question. Let's go for a mark here. We'll go for this one here. Okay. So substituting in for cosine 2x, the correct formula to work through from there. I'll then go for a mark for getting this one here, so that's getting it into a form where we can then factorise. I'll go for 1 mark for getting the two brackets right, equaling 0. Make sure the equals 0 is continued down there, I wouldn't like to see that disappearing. And we'll go for a mark for cosine x equals minus a quarter, all the way across to here. So that would be the two sides there. Cosine x equals minus a quarter and cosine x equals 2 over 3. I'll go for 1 mark for getting these solutions here. And the final mark for stating what the solutions are clearly for this type of work. Okay. Okay, so that one there would be out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's just the one. That's just the one mark there, remember, for these two solutions, and 6 to there. So marks out of 6 for this question here. Okay, so hopefully that's helped you. Some of these are kind of reasonably complicated. Just be careful when there's a number on the outside of the cosine 2x, okay, and make sure that you multiply the two parts within inside the bracket by that number to make sure that you come forward and get the correct answer. So good luck.